Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. It's been a while since I made a video about a plate carrier, but I think this one is worth an update video. So I'm gonna start from the front and go all the way around it. Starting off with the base, the last time I showed you my AVS I had like the regular Sapi cut plate bags. This time I'm using swimmer cut plate bags, and if you have seen my plate comparison video, swimmer cuts for airsoft at least are the way to go because they give you a lot more freedom of motion in your arms and are still very sturdy. So in the front I have a quad mag placard by Unobtanium Gear. The reason I use the quad placard is first off you have one more magazine and basically the same space, and if I were to use a triple one it doesn't go right onto the edges, and that gives me kind of the ick. I don't like that, so I got the quad one more mag, looks better and works just as good if you ask me. Why did I choose the Unobtanium Gear ones? I personally really like the slab mag pouches they do because it's very easy to reinsert magazines one-handed. For example, with Blue Force gear, you wouldn't have these tabs and you would basically need a second hand to hold open the mag pouch and then reinsert it. Also what these have, this space right here in front of the Tigris and the elastic, is hollowed out, so you could throw a pistol mag insert in there or maybe your multi-tool. What I personally do is I can fit two chem lights into each of these slots, which makes it really easy to organize your chem lights color accordingly. What I usually do is I go blue, red, yellow and IR. Also two of them each, so I have 8 chem lights in total and don't have this typical bundle of chem lights on your pants, which I personally don't really like because I always try to have stuff not flobbering around. So that's a plus in my opinion. You can also get like the G-hooks. They come standard with ITW clips. I don't like that. G-hooks are much more low profile and you can adjust the height. So if I were to use like these are regular AG mags, you can see they are fairly slim. If I were to use like PTW max or gas blowbacks max or extended max, I could make this ride a little bit lower to clear all of this up front here to have it easier to draw my max. Up here is where stuff gets a little bit more interesting, and I'm gonna like walk you through all of this. So this here is a KDU for my PRC 152. I usually only use this when I don't run the PRC up here. I'm getting a second radio pouch for the back of my carrier so I can run dual comms, and the 152 will be in the back of my cummerbund, and then I will use my KDU to reprogram it or switch channels. And right up front here is gonna be my PRC 148. So I can access the 148 on my own and the PRC 152 is in the back. What I'm thinking about doing, but not really I'm sure of that yet, is getting a double Blue Force Gear M4 mag pouch right up here. So I can put one of these, like this thing, just in that mag pouch and it's out of the way. But I'm not sure about that yet. So let me get that right off to the side. This right here is a juggernaut case for my iPhone, I think 13 or whatever. I use that for iTech and all the other apps like the Aris app, and there is one like, I don't know, typical airsoft users use. I have like 3 different apps on here, so I'm always compatible with whatever is gonna be used on that field. If I don't run with my team, also camera being exposed, you can take some videos or whatever in-game. What I would highly recommend is getting some Lexan shield for your camera so it doesn't get shot out. I lost mine on the last field because it actually got shot out and saved my camera, so definitely go ahead and do that. And behind that, this is your typical Crye admin pouch. I got the Axle zipper insert so I can easily get stuff that's in here. When I'm on longer games, what I put in here is a 10,000 milliamp battery pack to charge my phone, because when you're out like 16 to 20 hours at a time with not like coming back to your HQ, you can't recharge your phone and your phone is gonna be draining a lot of battery if you run iTech and other apps on there simultaneously. So that's what I use right here. Let me just get this out of the way again. On the side here, I run an Invisio V50, which is like I'm very happy with that. I could use the V60, don't really need the third radio port, and this has its own battery compartment, so it doesn't drain my radio And as I said, when you're out for a longer period of time, your batteries is something you wanna like keep as long as possible. So that's why I use the V50. I got one of the invisio cables going down right there, and if I'm gonna use my 148, the second one goes right in here, so I can easily use that. Let me just turn this a little bit. So I'm gonna talk about this on detail when I'm on the other side, but on my AVS, I don't run a cummerbund system as you typically know it. I basically have the harness and I use the molly on the harness to attach all my pouches. So I got the Ferro Concepts Cobra buckle adapter kit. And what I do is typically I enter my plate carrier from the right side, because on my left side is all the cables and I don't want to undo and redo them all the time. But I also need something to hold onto the carrier. So let's say I were to use the Crye single strap cummerbund. I would have a single strap I would have to reroute on the back of all the pouches and then attach by velcro right on top of my front plate. What I did was I took a tourniquet pouch and I basically somewhat mollied that over the Cobra buckle, because I don't need this Cobra buckle anyways and I would lose one molly space, and you know, I need a tourniquet on my plate carrier somewhere, so I figured why not put it there, because I thought about putting a flashbang there, but these will wobble around too much where this one sits rather tight because it's being pushed into place by all the other stuff going around it. So that's what I use there. My radio is not in a radio wing. I don't know if you can see that properly. I think you should. This is the back of my harness. And I use the from.pro Mbitr velcro in pouch, which velcros into the velcro of your harness. So it sits nice and snug in between my harness, and it also creates some radio channels on the right and left where it pushes out the molly part from the harness part. Very nice, very good option in my opinion, because I don't like the typical radio wings you use. They dig into your body, and this one does not. On the side I got 3 Unobtanium Gear flashbang pouches. I like these quite a lot because they're very easy to open. They're also quiet to open because they don't use velcro or a clip. Clips can be loud, not always, depends on the clip and how stiff they are. Like this a lot, also very multi-purpose, you can fit a lot of stuff in there. And if the flashbang is being used, these will basically take up no space on your carrier at all. Also very easy to re-index. That's something you will see with probably all the Unobtanium gear. If you buy that stuff, it's very thought through. I like their gear a lot, to be honest. On the back, this right here is just a Velcro, what is it called? Velcro wrap, whatever thingy I use to keep this cable a little bit out of the way, and it will go onto like down here and is kept in place by the zip-on panel basically. Right here is where I'm gonna throw the second Mbitr pouch if I decided on which one I'm probably getting. And as you can see here in the back, I hope, this is what I meant with the Mbitr pouch is velcroed into the harness and not like molded onto the harness. So this fits onto my body, and the Mbitr itself doesn't push in, so it's very comfortable to wear. And also during summertime when these get hot, you won't feel any of that. Very, very good in my opinion. On the back, I run the, oh god, I forgot his name, headsdown, commsup, Yoghurt cup antenna, very nice omnidirectional antenna. This one has 2 ports, one being for my radio, the other one being for my Go antenna. So let me get this out right quick. This is my Go antenna plug. If I use Go antenna, I'll just plug it in here and then put it in my top pouch right up front here, because in the water bladder compartment I usually run my HPA tank. I don't really like or use sauce bladders or generally water bladders anymore. They're like a pain in the ass to get clean, and I don't really care like to put up with all that cleaning stuff. I like to just use my gear and have it as low maintenance as possible, so that's why I use Nalgene bottles. Going over here, on the back of my carrier, I have an extra 1 liter Nalgene bottle pouch. This one is made by Spiritus, I believe. Usually I wouldn't carry one of the glow-in-the-dark Nalgenes. I have one that's sprayed all over, so it's very like safe to use under night vision. But it's just here so you can get an idea. This one is gonna be handed to to me by a buddy of mine if my platypus pouch gets empty, because this is not my primary water source. This is just to fill up the pouches I have in my pants. Usually I have one of those foldable water bladder thingies in my pocket, like they're called platypus bottles. I like them a lot. They're very compact if they're empty, and I can fill this up with that. I keep this space empty because this is where my arm rests if I don't do anything. I could throw something on there, but don't really need to because I have everything I need on my carrier and my belt. Going over a little bit more, this is the Crye SPS 9x7x3 pouch. I like this pouch a lot because it gives me several options, but the main reason I chose this pouch to put on the side of my carrier is it's basically the only pouch that will fit my NVGs. As some of you may know, I run the Argus AP NVG, so basically the quad knots, and they're a pain in the ass to get stowed away in a pouch. They come in a hard case, but that hard case doesn't really fit anywhere. If I were to throw it in my back panel, that's almost full, and I can't throw my HPA bottle in the back panel as well. I would have to use the 2.0 panel. Don't like that, don't want that because I run this one. So I got this, my AP NVGs will fit vertically in there. And usually with all the other pouches that can fit AP NVGs, they fit horizontally. As you can see by the curvature of my harness here, I can't put like a wide utility on here because AP NVGs shouldn't bend around your body. So they would be always under tension. I use this with a foam insert, works like a charm. The second reason I use this is it will also fit a second machine gun box mag if I were to run my LV MMG. So what I typically run is an M240, and the 50 round nutsacks for your M240 are somewhat big, and I can fit that in here as well. Also, this is a rather big but still very easily accessible general purpose pouch, because usually like wide utilities, they are wide, and when this like the stuff that goes to the back is very hard to reach, whereas this, it's just deeper, like that a lot. And if I don't need it, what I typically do is fold that up in itself, pull this one tighter, and then I have like a piece of shock cord holding this in here, and then it's basically completely out of the way. In the back, clipped into the harness, I use a Winkler knife. This is the belt knife WK2, I believe, not really sure. Got the Mikata grips, would have preferred maple walnut, but couldn't get them. Still happy I got a Winkler knife finally. Very awesome knives. If you can get one, very, very good for the money in my opinion. And here you can see the Ferro Concepts Cobra buckle adapter. So what I basically do is just unclip this, and then I can access my carrier. I go in there, plug this back in, and that's basically how I go in and out of my carrier. Very easy, like that a lot. Shoulder pads, last thing I'm gonna probably talk about for today. The shoulder pads are not the standard Crye ones, and these are also not the Axle ones. These are made by Shaw Concepts. As you can see from the side, they are very thickly padded and they are very comfortable to run on my AVS. I like them a lot. If you can get them, I would highly recommend them. But to be fair, I also ran the Axle ones for quite a while. The Axle ones are better in my opinion, and if I ever find a second pair, I will probably switch these out to Axle reinforced structural pads, whatever they call them, because they are a tad better, to be honest. Another thing to mention is I run a second pair of those QD adapters. I just had it laying around and threw it on there because I couldn't be bothered to put this one onto this side, because this is the side I enter my carrier from. And I think that's about it, except for the little dangler pouch. I completely forgot that. I run the Spiritus Systems dangler pouch on the bottom. Just gives me some space to put more stuff in. Usually what I throw in there is some snacks and some writing materials, and everything that I like, it's more important that I need access of safely is gonna be thrown into my Crye GP. But that depth down there is like, if you're out for a longer period of time, it's basically my snack pouch. I keep like some nuts in there, some gummy bears, you know, stuff like that. Nothing really serious. And that should wrap up my Crye Avs loadout as of right now. If you got any questions, please make sure to leave a comment and I will make sure to answer your questions. If you liked the video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.